an old camera, a harmless trip, and a photo featuring someone no one remembers seeing in real life. In 2007, in Kyoto, Japan, 5 university students went on a weekend camping trip. They took what seemed like an ordinary Polaroid picture, but within a month, 2 of them were dead under strange circumstances. One vanished without a trace, and the photo, despite being burned, came back. This is the story of the cursed Polaroid, one of the most terrifying, long-forgotten mysteries among Kyoto's college campuses. In October 2007, during the last weekend before midterms, a group of university friends decided to escape the city's academic pressure. They headed to Mount Kurama, an area steeped in ancient legends, sacred shrines, and unexplained phenomena. The group consisted of Satoshi, a photography student obsessed with vintage film cameras; Naoko, Satoshi's girlfriend, majoring in psychology; Kenji, the outgoing group leader; Yui, a film major who loved documenting everything; Takumi, a quiet student who read extensively about the supernatural. They rented a small wooden cabin deep in the forest. That evening, they grilled food, told ghost stories, and took Polaroid photos using Satoshi's old camera, an heirloom passed down from his grandfather. Around 9 p.m., after sharing a few chilling tales, they decided to take a group photo by the fire. The flames flickered, and the wind rustled through the trees as Satoshi clicked the shutter. Everyone laughed, until Kenji looked closer and fell silent. In the photo, all 5 friends were clearly visible, but standing behind them, slightly to the left, was a woman in a white kimono, her long hair covering one side of her face. No one had seen anyone else nearby. The trail to Mount Kurama was deserted, with only one narrow path leading up. Tension filled the air. Yui nervously joked, "Maybe it's just a lighting glitch," but her eyes betrayed real fear. 3 days after returning to campus, Yui fell from the 5th floor of her dormitory. She died on impact. She had been alone. The building's security cameras not working during the time of the incident. Yui's journal revealed disturbing entries. "I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see her standing in the corner of my room. Each time, she's closer." There were deep scratch marks on the wooden floor, not matching Yui's fingernails. The door was locked from the inside. No signs of a struggle, but police noted a damp, human-shaped imprint on the white wall near her bed. 5 days later, Kenji died in a motorcycle accident. The brakes failed in light rain. He crashed into a guardrail and died instantly. His phone was still open to the camera app, and among the photos was a blurry image of an empty road with a shadowy figure standing in the middle. One of Kenji's closest friends said he had recently complained of feeling followed every night. He had even refused to sleep alone. The first 2 deaths, both were in the Polaroid, and both had stared too long at the woman in the kimono. Satoshi became paranoid. He stopped eating, barely slept, and kept saying someone was watching him. Naoko was plagued with the same recurring dream. She stood atop Mount Kurama, wind howling, as the kimono woman smiled and reached out her hand. Every time she woke up, her legs were numb, like she had walked all night in her sleep. Takumi, meanwhile, stayed quiet, but he began obsessively researching Kurama's legends, reading ancient texts about lost souls and forgotten sealing rituals. Takumi's investigation. Notes. There's a legend of a woman in a white kimono who was betrayed and left to die atop Mount Kurama during winter. She threw herself into a ravine. They say if you see her in your dreams 3 times, she'll call you back to where she died. Naoko begged the group to destroy the photo. They brought it to an ancient shrine at the base of Mount Kurama and asked a priest to perform a ritual. The picture was burned in a solemn ceremony. The ashes turned white, like salt dissolving. But the next morning, the photo was lying neatly on Naoko's bed. This time, the woman was closer, her face clearly visible, solemn, mournful, her eyes seemingly staring right into the viewer. A new detail: her left hand was reaching out, as if inviting the photographer to follow. Naoko fainted at the sight. Takumi checked the security footage. No one had entered the apartment. but one clip showed a momentary visual glitch, as if someone had briefly stood in front of the lens, then vanished. They tried burning the photo again, in the shower over a gas stove. It burned, but hours later, it came back, sometimes on the desk, sometimes under a pillow, once stuck to the outside of the window, from the outside. And each time it returned, the woman was closer, step by step, like she was walking out of the photo, her hand slowly extended toward the shoulder of the nearest friend. One night, Satoshi dreamed he was taking pictures. The kimono woman stood behind him. She whispered something unintelligible, and when he awoke, there was a message in black ink on his wall. Memories are not meant to be forgotten. Satoshi moved out. He stopped talking to everyone, spending his days painting the woman's face from memory. The first paintings were vague. The last one looked almost photographic. Takumi's note: "The photo won't be destroyed. It may be an anchor, some kind of bridge between reality and a sealed memory. We must find the place her spirit is tied to and reverse the seal." Investigation note: "At the university library, I found a 1933 diary entry mentioning a female student in a white kimono who went missing after being rejected by her fiancé on Mount Kurama. Her name matches the faint writing on the back of the photo." On November 19th, Takumi disappeared. He didn't show up for class. His phone was off. The apartment was locked from the outside. When police forced entry, everything seemed untouched, except an unfinished painting of the woman in the kimono, standing in a dark forest. A notebook, final line: "I think I know what she wants." The Polaroid photo pinned to the desk with a needle. Takumi was never seen again, but security footage from the building captured a shadowy figure walking away just before sunrise. Face obscured, slow steps, and most chilling of all, no shadow under the streetlights. On November 25th, Satoshi hanged himself in his rented room on Kyoto's outskirts. No suicide note, just a photo taped to the wall. It was the old Polaroid, but now only one person was in it: Naoko, standing in the woods, her back to the camera. Behind her was the kimono woman, her face visible for the first time. Most terrifying of all, her hand was resting on Naoko's shoulder. Police labeled it a mental health case, but no one could explain how the photo existed. It matched Satoshi's photography style perfectly, but his Polaroid camera had been destroyed 3 weeks earlier. 2 days later, Naoko vanished. Her door wasn't forced open. All belongings remained. Her phone was off. No one ever reached her again. A neighbor claimed to have seen Naoko standing at the edge of a nearby forest park, staring silently at a tree before walking into the woods and never returning. Park security cameras showed a grainy clip, Naoko walking into the trees, and behind her, a faint white figure gliding silently after her. Naoko was never found. In 2012, a photography student stumbled upon an old Polaroid camera at a Kyoto flea market. Inside the film compartment, he found a faded, yellowed photo. It showed a girl with her back turned to the camera, standing at the edge of a forest. If you looked closely, a white kimono sleeve could be seen peeking out from the bushes nearby. No one knows how the camera ended up there, and the student, now unreachable, never said whether he took the photo or simply found it. But his final journal entry was just one sentence: "I think I saw her."